Vehicle and asset finance from Absa. Going the extra mile to get you finance. Track to find solutions.
Go! The prologue over a tough and longer 60Ks would produce the starting order for the next day's racing proper, and the Sun City 400 was a complete turn-up for the form book. Woolridge and Schultheimer, former national champions and both renowned two-wheel racers in their day, racked up the third fastest time, while their stablemates, Rob Gurney and Graham Steinbach, impressed as well, taking 7th overall. Factory Nissan was in the capable hands of yet another former champ, Duncan Foss and Ralph Pitchford, but they could only finish 15th fastest. They would have to eat dust on day 2. Class E leader Manfred Schroeder and Ward Huxtable had a 7-minute lead in their category and was 16th overall. With the leading Toyota, that of Hichu and Jaap de Bruin in 18th place, 8 minutes off the pace, but leading Class D. Factory Toyota was that of Bevan Berthold and Robin Houghton, but they were only 20th overall and 3rd in the SP class. Newcomers Harold and Tian Kun and their Landy impressed with a solid showing in 24th place in a field totaling 71 cars. Martin and Oki Fourie and their Castrol Toyota Hilux were second in Class E to the Ford Ranger and, like the Kuns, beat some big names, including Mark Cronier and Chris Birkin, who had wrong slotted and incurred a 60-minute penalty. The Tyco trucks pairing of Chris Visser and Jaapie Badenhorst had the same misfortune and missed a marshalling point. It cost them dearly. The BB Auto crew, Arnold Duplessis and Johan Knox in Edison Hardbody, was another of the 22 cars that wrong slotted and took the penalty. After the prologue, the production car class was led by the Ford Ranger of Woolridge and Schultheimer, with the blue and white mark packing 3 cars into the top 4. A great showing for the Peter Maritzburg-based team. Go! In the special vehicle class, it was the unheralded Gerard and Kobe Duplessis who set the pace. They clocked 53 minutes and 5 seconds, the fastest of the day on the dusty and testing route. The Western Cape race victor Brandon Harkis, with Marcel Trethui riding shotgun, again performed in the Motorrad back to take second, just 24 seconds down. And it was a day for the lesser-known teams. Herman Sulwalt and Hendrik Fourie in their Zarko Magnum took 3rd in Class A and 4th overall, while the Leo Conix Internet entry of John Moore and Ashley Thorne took 5th in their Caloi. The Rapsa bat of Nardis Alberts and Colin Hunter was fast enough to take 6th overall, with 2005 champion Alfie Cox and Henny ter Steege in the Motorrad bat filling 8th place and 6th in class. Clint Gibson and Mike Brown in their Absolute bat steamed by 3 minutes after the winners and were chasing hard in Class A. In the B category, Marcus Taylor and Mark de Chalane in the JRE were leading by 2.5 minutes. But they were pushed hard by Evan Hutchison and Akim Bergman in their Motorrad bat, the 3rd of the black and silver liveried cars in the top 11. Former champion Richard Schilling and Chris Davies in the Plastotech Ace-Car were 12th, but the leaders on the Class S log were only ahead by 53 seconds in the prologue. The so-called Spaceframe cars were thus headed by the Duplessis, who shaded Harkis and Trethui, but Cox and ter Steege were menacingly watching, just 3 minutes down. In the Nissan compound, there was power steering trouble for Hannes Grobler and Francois Jordan, who had to settle for time penalties.
We had a good start and the car was performing very, very well at the first 8 kilometers, and we hit a little rut in the road and the power steering packed up, and it's not so easy to drive these vehicles without a power steering. So we had to decide if we're going to just stop there and pull out, or we're going to do the other 50 kilos, and we thought of not damaging anything else. We just thought, yeah, we'll call it a day, and we're going to have to come from the back tomorrow again.
And they'd done that successfully before this season. For Manfred Schroeder in the Ford, the dust was a problem.
Yeah, today I think there's going to be a lot of dust, so we tried to go as fast as possible, but unfortunately hit the ditch a bit hard and it's changed the wheel alignment, so the car wasn't handling too nicely, but yeah, we went flat out to try and get a good starting position.
For Toyota's Mark Grenier, that wistful look reflected a tough day at the office. Their wrong slotting cost them a chance at victory, and the mood was hardly exuberant in the Japanese Mark's camp. With the first 60 Ks done, but 2 really tough loops of almost 200 dry, tough and dusty Ks left to negotiate, teams set about preparing cars. There were power steerings to restore, axles that went AWOL, punctures that left teams limping, and then there was the marking of the course, which came under fire from some quarters. However, it all added up to some great racing in the offing for the Sun City 400. At sunrise the next day, all the pains had been set aside and teams were ready to do battle. For the Ford squad, it was a superb outing on the prologue jaunt, and they were ready to do it all again.
Yeah, the Ford team had a fantastic day yesterday. You know, we knew it was all important to have a really good, strong time trial because of the dust conditions today. You see today it's going to be another steaming hot day, and it's very, very dry, so it was imperative to get a good start, which we did. We managed to get pole position, and more importantly with our teammates Robin Grimbo in second position, and Manfred's also put pole position on Class E car, so a fantastic day for Ford. We just hope we can keep it up for the next 400 Ks.
For the ever-improving Bevan Bertolt, there was a train to catch.
Yeah, our car's doing well. We had a small fuel hose come off yesterday. It took us about 7 minutes. Then we got that going. We had to wait for a train. But it was going well. The car's beautiful. And it's not yesterday doesn't count. Today counts. So we're starting 21st. Not too bad. And just need to come in the top 5 where we're well off.
Notice the little word "just" in there, and that's a word that gets used in off-road a lot. Foss and Pitchford were ready too.
Yes, yesterday we didn't have such a good time trial. We got a puncture and we wrong slotted once. But today, yes, we're just going to push as hard as we can. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of dust today. And at the same time, we've got to try and keep it safe.
And what about the screamers? The hooter-like devices that the drivers use to indicate their presence in an overtaking situation.
Yeah, the screamer story doesn't always work too well. We do make use of it, but it's up to the guy in front to decide if he's going to move over or not.
For Cox, there was heartbreak within sight of the prologue finish line.
Yeah, you know, getting a puncture 8 kilometers from home, leading the time trial, you know, I just had to soldier in. It takes you longer to get out the car to change the tyre than just to keep going for that 8 kilometers. So all in all, I think I lost 3 minutes to the leaders. So I think I'm starting 8th or 9th today. But, you know, like I say, it's a cautious approach for today. It's a long way. It's 400 kilometers exactly. And, you know, yesterday, obviously, I saw with the big fires that they've had here that the sawn-off thorn bushes can just puncture the tyre quite easily. So, yeah, I'm going to come from behind today, take one step at a time, and hopefully the day will go my way.
We know a song with the same name, but there was no time for crooning at the Sun City Sports and Recreation Club as the countdown to the racing proper started. Spectators turned up from nearby Rustenburg and the surrounds to see their off-road heroes in action, and they knew they were in for a treat.